the 2000 markets. Let's see if I have made money or if I've lost. Have you ever noticed if you scroll down to the bottom of the prices on Betfair, you always tend to see tons of money waiting to be matched at 101? Well, not long after starting Betfair trading, I noticed this and I always wondered, what is going on? Surely all these people are just losing money over and over again. Not long later, I started to watch trading videos here on YouTube and I heard people saying that long-term data suggested that laying at 101 was actually a profitable strategy, with the theory being that the trader is going to lose a large number of times, but these small losses will be outweighed by these big wins you'll get every so often. As a naturally skeptical person, I was always a little bit suspicious of this idea. Why would odds of 101 be magically different to any other odds? Odds, of course, represent probability, 99% in the case of 101, and surely if an event is greater than 99% chance of occurring, then 101 should surely be back value. And oppositely, just like any other odds, if the probability of the outcome occurring is less than 99%, then 101 would in fact be lay value. But this isn't what I was hearing in YouTube videos. It doesn't really explain why all this money is waiting at 101 ready to be matched. Could it really be that easy to be profitable? All you need to do is just lay 101 over and over again. At the end of the day, curiosity has got the better of me, which is why I'm making this video, to try to figure out the truth. When I first heard the rumours that laying at 101 was profitable in the long term, I saw that none of these people are actually providing any evidence to prove that this is true. So I decided to search through the depths of the internet to see if I could find this data myself, and I didn't really find much. But I did come across some interesting data from one article I found on the website called The Game Hunter. Honestly, I have no idea how reputable that source is, but it was the only data that I could find. The data I found was in fact for horse racing trading, and over a 2-year period, 28,000 horses matched at odds of 1.01. Of these, 387 went on to lose their race. 387 out of 28,000 might not sound like a lot, but if you had laid all of these 28,000 horses, which are matched at odds of 101, and let's say we're using a £100 stake, so that's £1 liability for every single bet, you would lose just over £27,000 on all the horses which matched at 101 and went on to win the race as they're expected to do. But the 387 horses which matched at 101 and went on to lose would actually give you a profit of over £37,000. A little side note, that's assuming that you're using the standard 2% commission model on Betfair. And overall, this strategy of laying all of these 28,000 horses would have given you a total profit of just over £10,000. Now that number looks nice, of course, but let's not get carried away here. There's a couple of things which raise concerns. Firstly, as I alluded to, I'm not sure about the credibility of this data. I'm assuming that it's accurate, but unfortunately I have no way of verifying that. Secondly, this data is over a decade old, so there is a good chance that the data isn't reflective for how the markets are behaving in now the year 2022. So I'd say realistically this data set isn't reliable enough to start basing our strategies off, but it is a good starting point to suggest that the rumours of laying of 101 being a long-term profitable strategy might have some weight towards them. And when you can't find the answers that you're looking for on Google, I'm left with one choice, and that is to try and figure it out myself, which is what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to run a sort of rudimentary experiment to figure out if laying at 101 can be a profitable strategy. I won't be placing, 28,000 bets to figure this out because, I want to upload this video at some point this decade, but I'll place as many bets as I physically can to generate the largest sample size. So what I need to do first is what I do when I'm doing any strategy, and that is to sit here and come up with a plan of how I'm going to implement this strategy. This is a little bit different because obviously I'm doing a test here to figure out if laying at 101 is profitable long term, and now I need to decide how the best way of figuring that out is. I thought a little bit of trying to identify places where laying at 101 would be valuable, but that just defeats the entire objective of this video because you could do that with any odds and find value that way. So ideally I'm just going to try and find the best way that I can lay 101 over and over again and to track those results. Okay, I've made a few notes now about how I plan to implement this strategy. A part of me is undecided on whether I should do the same bet on the same type of market over and over again, so we have a consistent data set, or whether we should just go gung-ho and lay as many selections in as many different markets, all just at odds of 101. I've decided to keep it consistent to begin with and see how that goes, see how many bets I can get matched per day. And my idea is that I'm going to lay the under 2.5 goals market at 101. I'm going to put the bet in right at the start of the game. Obviously, it's not going to get matched until late in the game. I've had a little bit of a research on BetAngel and some goal scoring data that I have, and it predicts that the under 2.5 goals market will approximately reach odds of 101 somewhere between the 70th and 80th minute. So I'm going to wait at the beginning of the game, hope to get matched there at 101, and then obviously I need 3 goals to be scored in approximately 15-minute period plus added time, which is very unlikely, but that's obviously why the odds are 101. Goals are likely to be scored before the 75th minute mark. If goals are scored before that, then this changes the dynamic of the trade. So I was thinking, what's the best thing to do here? Should I cancel a position if a goal is scored? For now, I'm just going to leave the position in for the entire game. All I want to see is how many times can I get 101 matched, what the results actually are. One thing that I did note down straight away is it's going to be really important to try and be at the front of the queue. I don't want to be sat behind tens and tens of thousands of pounds waiting to be matched, because that is eating away at my time in which I could get profit from this trade. And I'm going to do it as an outright bet, so obviously if I lay at 101 and a goal goes in, the price will move up slightly. I'm not going to cash out here. To begin with, I'm just going to leave them as an outright bet, and we'll see how well that works. I've made a couple of notes about my stake. I don't want to lose all of my bank doing this and it all go wrong, so I'm just going to be using £10 stakes, because this isn't about making money, this is about research and trying to settle a question which has been bothering me from a while now. So the first game I'm going to do this on is the Wolves versus Leeds game. That's just because it starts tonight. I'm not going to look at any pre-match research, I'm just going to do as many trades as possible, because that isn't the point. I'm not trying to find an edge from that principle, I'm just trying to see if there's an edge based purely on odds of 101. So I'm going to open a 2.5 goal market and I'm going to place a lay bet at odds of 101, and as I said, I'm using a £10 stake, and I'm going to keep the bet in play. So if you have a look now at the price and see how much money is in front of my money, you see that there's £2,500, which isn't ideal, but I know if I left this in play by the time the price is approaching 101, there'd be so much more money waiting to be matched there. So no surprises here, this game is finished and it's not won. The bet in fact didn't even get matched, as there was already over 2.5 goals before the price had even come close to approaching odds of 101. So yeah, one trade in one day is nowhere near a big enough sample size to start making an opinion about this strategy. So tomorrow I'm going to put a lot more bets into the market in a lot more games and hope that one of them might hit. So it's the next day here, and it's a Saturday, which typically is the day of the week with the most number of games. So I started opening up every single game and placing a £10 lay bet in the under 2.5 goals market, making sure that each bet was selected to keep once the market went into play. It didn't take many markets for me to realise that this was an incredibly slow process, and I would need a faster approach if I wanted to place as many bets as possible for this experiment. So I decided to open up my sports trading software, which enables me to connect to my Betfair account and place bets much quicker. I used a very simple piece of automation which essentially did 2 things. Number 1, place a £10 lay bet, odds of 1.01. And number 2, don't cancel the bet once the market goes into play. This enabled me to place hundreds of bets extremely quickly, and for this Saturday I had £10 lay bets in just under 500 markets, with a maximum risk of just under £50. I'm going to come back tonight to see what mess I've ended up leaving myself in. Or you never know, it might in fact just be profitable. So I've been off the computer all day now, and now it's time to check the results from the first day of doing this. I'm presuming that not many of those 500 bets will have matched, but let's find out. The worst case scenario is about £50 down. Let's not hope that's true. No idea what this is going to look like. Okay, £13.60 down. Wonderful, eh? So that's 137 markets matched. In theory, on average, you should win once every 100 markets. So this is quite a disappointing result, hey? There's a couple of reasons why this might be the case. Number 1 is because of the way I've set that automation file up, bot is going to place bets in markets which are like 1-0 or have 1 goal in them on like the 90th minute or the late 80 minutes. Which is not what I want really, but it's still laying at 101 I suppose, which is what the aim of this experiment was. Tomorrow I think I'm going to change the automation rule so that it will cancel the bet after around 80 minutes in play. This means that the bot is only going to pick up on markets which are 0-0 between the 70th and 80th minute, which is what I wanted really. So we're going to try that tomorrow, see what happens. It's the next day here, and looking at the results,
there was a few games which hadn't finished when I recorded last night. So my overall loss from day one is in fact even bigger. I'm going to change the way the automation works because of the way it's currently set up. The bet is going to stay in the market throughout the entire game. So it'll be there when I want it to be there, if the game's about 0-0 at around the 70th and 80th minute. But it'll also be there if there is 1 goal scored or 2 goals in the game and the game is approaching the 90th minute or even the very last seconds of the game. The bet will still be there and can still be taken. This may be the cause of all my losses from day one. So because of that, I'm adding 1 extra condition to the automation. Cancel all unmatched bets 95 minutes after the game goes in play. This would be approximately after the 80th minute, 45 minutes in the first half, 15-minute half time, and then 35 minutes of the second half. After making this change, I'm going to come back tonight to see if the automation did any better today, or if this is going to be a very expensive video.
So I didn't have a chance to look at any of the results from the bets I've placed. It's now a day later. I've been at work all day and I've been itching to check what the results are, but I didn't want to show you because I wanted to see the live reaction here. So I'm going to have a look at my profit and loss here to see how I did yesterday. It's called Get Bad. Okay, so these must have been games that went in overnight, past 12 o'clock yesterday. Good promising start, 8 losses. So I set this for just yesterday. Oh wow. It's pretty good, eh? 22.89. 167 markets, that seems quite too many markets for the automation bot I set up. Perhaps there was an error there, but what is that? Is that like 4 or 5 wins? There we go, there's a win. Got no idea what that league is. All of these leagues, I've got no idea what they are, but I've got wins, which makes me feel a bit more confident that I'm not going to lose all my money making this video. To look at my total profit so far, we got £7 profit over 320 markets. We're still in the early stages so far of testing this strategy, but it's promising. At the moment, I'm going to be putting the automation on and just going to try and get as many markets as possible, and let's see how well we can do.
I did some thinking and realised that the automation didn't work properly and more bets were placed than they should have been because I messed up on the 3rd automation rule, didn't set it up correctly. But as the 300 plus bets that I'd placed so far with the original automation was giving me results I could work with, I decided to keep using these conditions rather than fixing the broken automation rule.
It's been a few weeks since I last recorded, however I've been placing lay bets at 101 in as many under 2.5 goal markets that I can possibly find. All in all, I have placed over 5,000 bets and just over 2,000 of those have gone on to get matched. So over 2,000 £10 lay bets, odds of 101, puts my overall risk from this strategy, this experiment, at over £200. So this is the moment of truth. After 2,000 markets, let's see if I have made money or if I've lost. And there we have it. After a terrible start where I went £15 down, the strategy has made a miraculous comeback, and I'm quite a lot up. The strategy has done really well. If odds of 1.01 accurately reflect the true probability, then I was expected to win quite a few times given the number of markets I've ended up trading. But I've gone on to win many more markets than I was expected to do so, which is a promising sign that this strategy does in fact actually have something going for it. When I look at some of the games where this strategy's won, there's been some games where I've needed 3 goals in order to profit, some where there was 2 goals needed for me to win, and some where there was a last second goal that enabled me to get a profit. I really should emphasise that these results that I've got so far do not guarantee by any stretch of the imagination that this is actually a long-term profitable strategy. There is every chance that after thousands and thousands of more markets than I've already done, that this strategy could well in fact prove to be a losing strategy in the long run. And this is why trading is so risky, and it's very important, which what I've done here, use very low stakes. Each trade was 10p. I'm willing to use very low stakes in order to develop my strategies, and I recommend that is what you do too. And there's every chance that if you just try to copy exactly what I do, you could actually lose money. So please be careful when you are Betfair trading. Having given that caveat, I must say that I'm very impressed with the start of this strategy. I'm going to continue to develop and fine-tune this strategy in the coming weeks and months. If you want to know how I set up my automation for this trading strategy each day in order to get the profits that I've got, as a matter of fact, I've uploaded a tutorial video to my Patreon detail exactly how I set this automation to run in the background when I'm doing other things. If you're interested, you can check it out in the video description below. You can get your hands on some exclusive trading content to say thank you. And I'd like to specially thank all the people who are already supporting the channel. Really means a lot. Here's a little shout out for you for supporting the channel. This experiment has settled my mind a little bit to finally make me understand why there is always so much money waiting to be matched at such low odds. And I'm excited to develop this strategy further. However, one strategy on its own isn't enough when you're Betfair trading. And if you want to learn everything you can possibly know, the ins and outs of one of the most popular Betfair trading strategies out there, you can check out this video right here, giving an in-depth overview of the under 2.5 goals trading strategy.